One battered old car. One impossible decision. A black single dad, drowning in lies he couldn't disprove. Exhausted from back-to-back shifts, just to keep his little girl out of care. Driving home through a storm that felt like his whole life. Then he saw her. A stranger, standing in the hammering rain beside a posh Audi. Looking lost and desperate. He could have kept going. He probably should have kept going. Every instinct screamed drive on. But he pulled over. He didn't know that one small act of decency would become the most dangerous and most miraculous choice of his entire life. The wipers scraped back and forth, relentless. Daniel's eyes stung from the double shift. Stacking shelves, shifting crates, always moving. If he stopped, if he let himself think about that court date circled in red on the fridge, he'd crumble. 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks left. Then he spotted it. Hazard lights flashing weakly through the downpour. A sleek red Audi pulled onto the hard shoulder of the A road. The sort of car that cost more than he'd earn in a decade. A woman stood beside it. Phone in hand, jabbing at the screen. Shoulders hunched against the rain. Daniel's foot eased off the accelerator. The car slowed. "Keep driving," the voice in his head muttered. "You're knackered. She's probably got AA. Someone with a car like that has money, insurance, people." But the way she stood. Shivering, maybe scared, maybe furious. Something twisted in his chest. His mum's voice rang clear, as if she were right there in the passenger seat. "Character isn't what you do when life's easy, Daniel. It's what you do when everything's gone pear-shaped." His jaw tightened. Everything had already gone pear-shaped. James Whittaker. The name tasted like bile. 6 months earlier, £42,000 vanished from their little gardening business account. 6 months earlier, James looked him dead in the eye and accused him of theft. 6 months earlier, Daniel's world fell apart. The forged emails, doctored spreadsheets, fake signatures. It all pointed at him. James had better solicitors, better contacts, better everything. "The evidence looks terrible," his duty solicitor had said last week. Kind eyes full of pity. "I believe you're innocent, Daniel. But proving it? That's going to be rough. If found guilty, up to 5 years inside. 5 years of little Lily growing up without him. 5 years in the care system, because her mum walked out when she was 2. Leaving just a note saying she wasn't built for this. The thought of 6-year-old Lily. Gap-toothed grin, always putting her trainers on the wrong feet. Alone in the system. Daniel's car rolled to a stop behind the Audi. The rain hit like a slap when he stepped out, soaking him instantly. He raised one hand as he approached. Slow, visible, non-threatening. The woman turned. Even through the rain, he saw her tense. Fear. Of course she was afraid. A strange black man on a dark road at gone midnight. "All right, love," he called, keeping distance. "Car trouble." She studied him a moment. Rain streaming down her face, clothes drenched. Then she nodded. "It just died. Won't start at all." Her voice was calm, steady. The sort used to boardrooms, not breakdowns. "Mind if I have a look?" Daniel asked. "Not a proper mechanic, but I've kept enough old bangers running." Another pause. "Then, please. I'd be grateful." She popped the bonnet. Daniel leaned in. Rain hammered his neck, but for once he welcomed the distraction. This problem he might actually solve. No solicitors. No courtrooms. No terrified little girl. Fingers traced wires, connections. Minutes later. "Your battery terminals are loose. Probably knocked by a pothole. Got any tools? No. I don't think so. Daniel jogged back to his car. Grabbed his battered toolkit from the boot. As he worked, tightening, cleaning corrosion with an old rag. He chatted, the way he did when Lily couldn't sleep. This battery's on its way out. Get a new one soon. There's a petrol station couple of miles up. They'll sort you. He felt her watching. Even in the dark and rain, he clocked her face. Sharp, intelligent eyes. Quiet confidence, even soaked and stranded. The sort of woman who ran meetings, made big calls. Click. Connection secure. Daniel straightened, wiped rain from his eyes. Give it a go now. She slid in, turned the key. The engine caught, roared to life. Relief flooded her face. Real, unguarded. It changed her completely. How much do I owe you? She reached for her bag. Daniel shook his head, stepping back. Nothing, love. Just glad I could help. Wait, at least let me know your name. So I can thank you properly. He turned. Rain poured down his face. Their eyes met properly for the first time. Gratitude. Respect. Like she saw something in him most people missed. Daniel, he said. Too tired for caution. With court 3 weeks away and nothing left to lose. Daniel Wilson. Thank you, Daniel Wilson. Her voice warmed despite the cold. You might have just saved my night. If only you knew, he thought, climbing back in. If only you knew. You've just been helped by a man the world thinks is a crook. He pulled away. Her hazards faded in the mirror. He never asked her name. In 3 weeks, none of it would matter anyway. 3 weeks later, Daniel sat in the Crown Court in Manchester. Cheap borrowed suit. Clammy hands. Heart hammering so hard he thought it might burst. This was it. The moment that decided whether he tucked Lily in tonight. Or watched her grow up through prison visiting glass. His solicitor, Mr. Patel, sorted papers beside him. Worry in his eyes. They both knew how this looked. They both knew what happened to men like Daniel when they faced men like James Whittaker. All rise for Her Honor Judge Eleanor Hart, the usher called. Daniel stood on trembling legs, eyes on the floor. Couldn't bear to look up. Couldn't bear to see the face that held his future. But something made him glance. Instinct. Fate. Whatever you call it. The judge entered, black robes flowing, posture commanding. She took her seat. Daniel's breath stopped. He knew that face. Those eyes. That quiet authority. The rainy night flashed back. The woman beside the red Audi. Gratitude when he fixed her battery. No. Couldn't be. But the more he stared, the surer he became. Impossible. Yet certain. The woman he'd helped 3 weeks ago. Now sat behind the bench, gavel in hand, deciding his fate. His heart slammed against his ribs. Was he hallucinating? Harsh courtroom lights, not rain. Robes, not wet clothes. Hair pinned back severely, not loose and dripping. Maybe he was wrong. Maybe desperation invented hope. But those eyes. The shape of her face. The way she held herself. Daniel gripped the table edge. Wanted to speak. Ask. Confirm. How? What did you do on the A road 3 weeks ago, Your Honor? Did I tighten your battery terminals? He glanced at Mr. Patel, focused on notes, oblivious. Judge Hart looked down at the file. Neutral. Professional. No flicker of recognition. If she knew him, she gave nothing away. The hearing began. Daniel tried to listen. Prosecutor. Defense. But his eyes kept drifting to her. Then it happened. The prosecutor handed up photocopied financials. Judge Hart leaned forward. Eyes sharp. Mr. Clark, these are photocopies. Where are the originals? Daniel's breath caught. It was her voice. The same calm authority from the rain. I have concerns about the chain of custody here, she said firmly. This court will not proceed on photocopies of photocopies. Mr. Patel, I am granting your application for forensic examination of the digital records. We adjourn until properly authenticated originals are produced. Gavel cracked. Daniel flinched. As the court cleared, he stayed seated. Mind spinning. Mr. Patel talked excitedly beside him. How unusual, how lucky, how this bought real time. Daniel barely heard. His eyes followed Judge Hart, as she gathered files and vanished into chambers. Was it her? Had the woman from the rain just saved him? Or was his desperate mind inventing miracles? He wanted to believe. God, he wanted to believe. But he couldn't be sure. That doubt haunted him for the next 2 weeks. Eleanor Hart leaned against her chamber's door. Hands trembling against the wood. Heart racing. Daniel Wilson. The man who'd stopped in the pouring rain. Refused money. Smiled wearily. Gave his name before driving off. She'd seen the shock in his eyes when she entered court. The double take. Confusion. Hope. Fear. He suspected. She'd given nothing away. Because to acknowledge it would mean instant recusal. The case would go to Judge Grayson. A man with a 92% conviction rate and zero patience for legal aid cases. She'd bent every ethical rule. Demanded evidence checks that should have happened months ago. Fought for a defendant she knew personally. But what choice did she have? Let an innocent man go down because the system couldn't be bothered. She'd seen the file before the hearing. Flimsy. Circumstantial. Easily dismantled with proper scrutiny. But the previous judge had denied forensics. Too expensive, too time-consuming. Daniel Wilson was being fitted up. And the only person who could stop it was the one who should have stepped aside the moment she saw his name. Sometimes justice demands impossible choices. She only hoped she'd chosen right. 2 weeks dragged like 2 years. Daniel went through the motions. Warehouse shifts, collecting Lily from Mrs. Ahmed, bedtime stories, pretending life was normal. But every night he lay awake. Was it her? Did she recognize him? Was that why she ordered the forensics? Or coincidence? Daddy, you're thinking too loud, Lily mumbled one night, half asleep. It's keeping me awake. Sorry, sweetheart. Go back to sleep. Is it the court thing? Yeah. Mrs. Ahmed says judges are fair. They help good people. I hope so, love. I really hope so. The forensic report landed on a Tuesday. Mr. Patel rang at work, voice shaking. Daniel, the report. It's everything. Whitaker faked it all. Digital trails prove it. You're going to be all right. Daniel's legs buckled. He sank onto a pallet of boxes. Tears streamed. Back in court tomorrow. Judge Hart wants it reconvened immediately. Judge Hart. Tomorrow he'd know. After careful review of the authenticated evidence, Judge Hart said from the bench. Voice steady, commanding. This court finds the prosecution's case rests on fabricated documents. The digital banking records conclusively show that James Whitaker, not Daniel Wilson, committed the embezzlement. Mr. Wilson, All charges are dismissed with prejudice. The courtroom erupted. Daniel heard none of it. Hands shaking. Vision blurring with tears. Free. He was free. Furthermore, Judge Hart continued, cutting through the noise. I am referring this matter to the Crown Prosecution Service, with a strong recommendation for immediate charges against James Whittaker. Fraud, embezzlement, forgery, perverting the course of justice. Final gavel. Daniel looked up, really looked. Their eyes met for one brief second. In that instant he knew. It had always been her. She'd known from the moment his file reached her desk. And she'd fought for him anyway. Before he could speak, she rose, gathered files, disappeared into chambers. Professional. Efficient. Mr. Patel hugged him, talked civil claims, compensation. Daniel barely heard. Eyes on that closed door. He needed to thank her. Needed to say it. But how do you approach a judge who just saved your life? And ask if she was the woman whose car you fixed in the rain? It felt impossible. Wrong? So he left the court with freedom in his hands. And questions in his heart. But deep down, he knew. And somehow he had to tell her. Thank you. 6 weeks passed like a dream. Daniel found better work at a big DIY store. Decent pay. Sensible hours. Proper benefits. Home for tea every night. Lily covered the fridge in drawings. Daddy is free in rainbow crayon, misspelled words full of love. Life felt good. Better than he'd dared hope. But one thing nagged. He'd never properly thanked the judge. Never confirmed what his heart already knew. He was restocking paint tins in aisle 9. When a voice behind him asked, "Excuse me, do you know where I'd find battery terminals?" He turned. There she was. No robes. No bench. No gavel. Just a woman in jeans and a soft jumper. Hair loose, small smile. "It's you," he breathed. The tin of brushes slipped from his fingers. "I knew it in court. I wasn't sure, but I knew." Her smile grew warmer. "Genuine. You recognized me." "How could I not? Your face. Your voice." But I kept thinking, maybe I imagined it. Maybe desperation played tricks. He stepped closer. Voice low. "You knew too. The whole time. You knew I was the man who fixed your car. From the moment I saw your photo in the file," she said. The mug of tea I was holding hit the floor and smashed. "But you couldn't say anything. If I'd acknowledged it, I'd have had to recuse. Your case would have gone to Judge Grayson." Daniel closed his eyes. Understanding washed over him. "And Grayson would have convicted me. No question." 94% conviction rate, she said quietly. "No time for legal aid defenses." "So you risked everything," he whispered. "Your career. Your reputation." "I could lose my job if anyone found out," Eleanor said. "I broke a dozen rules. But I'd do it again." They stood in the middle of the aisle. Surrounded by screws, paint cans, extension leads. The moment felt holy. "Why?" Daniel asked. "Why risk so much for someone you met once in the rain?" "Because that one meeting told me everything about your character. A man who stops in a storm to help a stranger. Uses his own tools, gets soaked, refuses money when he clearly needs it. That's not a thief. That's integrity. I couldn't watch an innocent man go to prison. Because the system was too lazy to check the real evidence." Tears stung Daniel's eyes. "You saved my life. Saved Lily from losing her dad. You helped me first," she said softly. You had every reason to keep driving. Exhausted. Worried. Trial 3 weeks away. But you stopped. You showed me something I'd stopped believing in. Real, uncomplicated human goodness. I never even learned your name that night. I know, she said. You gave me yours. I never offered mine. If I had, would things have been different? Maybe. Or maybe everything happened exactly as it was meant to. There's something else, she said, a smile playing. During your trial, you brought your daughter once. She waited in the corridor. She drew me a picture. Gave it to the usher for me. Daniel nodded. Lily. Mrs. Ahmed was poorly. No one else to mind her. Eleanor's smile widened. A judge in a superhero cape. She said I had a magic hammer that makes bad people disappear. Despite everything. The weight, the emotion. Daniel laughed. Genuine. Surprised. She thinks you're Gavel's magic. Tells everyone at school the nice lady with the magic hammer saved her daddy. I'd love to see more of her drawings. Then, with quiet courage, vulnerability showing through. Maybe over a coffee. Now the case is over, if that's allowed. Daniel's heart lifted. Something warm and complicated bloomed. Hope. Gratitude. The start of something neither expected. It's allowed, he said, voice thick. I'd really like that. A lot. That Saturday, Daniel brought Lily to the little cafe near the park. He'd told her, Miss Eleanor wants to see your drawings. Lily had spent the morning sorting artwork. Changing outfits 4 times. Is she the magic hammer lady? Lily asked, bouncing. She is. Is she pretty? Very. Is she nice? The nicest. Then I'm wearing my princess dress. The yellow one. Yellow means happy. And we're happy now, right, Daddy? Daniel knelt, heart aching with fullness. We're the happiest, sweetheart. Watching Lily spot Eleanor across the cafe. Practically vibrating with excitement. Something inside Daniel shifted. Like coming home. Daddy. Daddy. It's the magic hammer lady. Lily dragged him forward with 7-year-old strength. Eleanor stood. Professional composure melted. Replaced by pure warmth. Delight. Hi. I'm Lily, but you can call me Lil because that's what Daddy calls me when I'm being good. And I'm being very good today. Words tumbled out. She thrust a rolled drawing at Eleanor. See? That's you with your magic hammer. And the cape. Superheroes need capes. Obviously. Obviously, Eleanor agreed, unrolling it carefully. Eyes soft. This is beautiful, Lil. I know, Lily said, no modesty. Already climbing into the chair opposite. I'm really good at art. And at eating pancakes. Do they have pancakes here? Daniel caught up, breathless. Lil, slow down. You're like a tiny tornado. Tornadoes are fast and powerful, Daddy. Thank you. Eleanor laughed, really laughed. The most beautiful sound Daniel had ever heard. In court she'd been all edges and authority. Here, with his whirlwind daughter. She was real. Warm. Someone he could imagine in their lives. Not just the judge who saved him. Someone who belonged. Over hot chocolate for Lily. And proper coffee for the grown-ups. Conversation flowed easy. Lily told wild stories about her soft toys adventures. Different voices, dramatic gestures. Knocking over her hot chocolate twice. And then Mr. Fluffington. He's my rabbit. Said to Princess Sparkle Paws, she's my cat. We need to save the kingdom. But then they remembered they can't read maps. So they got lost in Tesco instead. Brilliant plot twist, Eleanor said, charmed. Dabbing the spill with napkins. I know. I'm full of twists. Daddy says I should write films. Lily took a huge sip, leaving whipped cream moustache. Eleanor smiled. Are you going to be Daddy's girlfriend? Because Mrs. Ahmed says you're pretty. And Daddy needs a girlfriend, because he's been sad too long. Lily. What? Mrs. Ahmed said it. Not me. But I agree. You're pretty. And you have a magic hammer. That's basically the best combination ever. Eleanor fought laughter. Eyes dancing. Well, your dad and I are going to be friends first. We'll see what happens. Okay. But just so you know, I'm really good at sharing. Daddy and I make excellent friendship bracelets. If you want one, I use all the best colors. Not the boring ones. As Lily launched into bracelet-making instructions, Daniel caught Eleanor's eye across the table. She smiled, warm, knowing. This felt natural. Easy. Like they'd been heading here since that rainy night. When their worlds first touched. The universe had pushed him to the edge of losing everything. Faced him with his worst fear. Then gave him this. A second chance. A new beginning. A woman who'd risked everything to believe in him. Sometimes kindness comes back. In ways you never expect. Coffee dates became regular. Sometimes with Lily. Sometimes without. Always laughter. Easy talk. They discovered shared loves, old films, terrible cooking. Both losing parents young, carrying responsibility too soon. On their fourth outing, zoo with Lily. They watched penguins waddle. Lily ran ahead to the sea lions, yellow coat bright against grey winter. Daddy. Hold Miss Eleanor's hand so she doesn't get lost. I mean, I don't think, Daniel started, embarrassed. It's okay, Eleanor said softly. Slipping her hand into his. Fingers warm despite the cold. For safety reasons. Right? Safety. Her hand fit perfectly. Like it belonged. Like this was always meant. By month 3, occasional dinners alone while Mrs. Ahmed minded Lily. Real dates. Hopes. Fears. No interruptions. Though Lily always demanded full reports after. Did you hold hands? Did Daddy do his nervous laugh? Did you talk about me? You should always talk about me. I'm the best topic. One evening, after a long, lovely dinner, Daniel walked Eleanor to her car. The red Audi now had a brand new battery. Sometimes I think I should send a thank you note to the pothole, she joked. Can I tell you something? She asked, leaning against the car. Something I probably shouldn't. Too soon. Might scare you off. You can tell me anything. When I saw your name on the docket. When I realized who you were. I was terrified. Not just the ethics, though they were real. But because that one night on the A road. You showed me something I'd stopped believing existed. What's that? Goodness. Real, uncomplicated human goodness. You had every reason to keep driving. Exhausted. Facing trial. But you stopped. Used your own tools. Got soaked. Refused money. And I thought. This is someone worth knowing. This is someone worth fighting for. Daniel's eyes stung. You risked everything for me. I risked my career, she corrected gently. You would have risked your daughter. Those aren't the same scales. What I did was the bare minimum justice required. What you did that night was pure character. He kissed her then. Soft. Careful. Full of promise. When they parted, both smiling. Lil's going to be unbearable when she finds out, Daniel said. She'll want a full report. Fireworks. The lot. And what will you tell her? Daniel pulled her close again. I'll tell her there were fireworks. The best kind. By month 6, Eleanor was part of their lives. She learned Lily hated mushrooms, but would eat anything called power-up food. Daniel could fix almost anything with duct tape and stubbornness. Their tiny flat held more love than most big houses. 1 year and 3 months after the trial that nearly broke him, Daniel planned to propose. Simple ring, nothing flashy. Their style sparkled like Eleanor's eyes when she laughed. Sunset in the park, site of their third date, where Lily insisted he hold Eleanor's hand for safety. Mrs. Ahmed agreed to mind Lily. Everything perfect. Except one miscalculation. Lily couldn't keep a secret to save her life. They walked toward the spot. Suddenly Lily appeared from behind a tree, supposed to be at Mrs. Ahmed's, and bellowed. Are you going to ask her to marry us yet? The ring's burning a hole in your pocket, Daddy. That's what Mrs. Ahmed said. Eleanor's hand flew to her mouth. Eyes wide, shock, delight. Daniel glared at his daughter. Bouncing, zero remorse. Lil? You were meant to be at Mrs. Ahmed's. This was a surprise. Mrs. Ahmed and I decided I should be here for the important bit. And oops about the surprise. But surprises are hard. Like trying not to laugh when someone says poo. You just can't. People in the park turned. Phones out. Daniel's face burned. But Eleanor laughed and cried at once. When he looked, she nodded. So he dropped to one knee. Lily bouncing beside him. Strangers gathering. Eleanor Hart, he said, hands shaking, ring box open. You saved my life in more ways than one. You saw me when I was invisible. Believed in me when no one else did. You looked at my rusty toolkit and saw character, not poverty. You looked at my chaos of a daughter. I'm not chaos, Lily interrupted. I'm enthusiastic. My enthusiastic daughter, Daniel corrected, fighting a smile. And somehow you fell in love with both of us. You've made us a family. Made us whole. Shown us the person you help in the dark can become the light that saves you. Will you marry us? Say yes. Lily stage whispered. I already picked my flower girl dress. It's yellow. Eleanor cried fully now. Smiling so wide it hurt. Yes. Yes to both of you. All of you. Forever and ever. Lily launched herself at Eleanor. Nearly knocked her over. I knew it. I told Daddy you'd say yes. Mrs. Ahmed owes me 5 quid. You bet on this? Daniel asked, incredulous. Slipping the ring on. Obviously. I had insider info. I'm basically a professional matchmaker. The small crowd clapped. An elderly lady called, best proposal I've seen. I helped plan it. Lily yelled back, waving like she'd won an award. Daniel pulled Eleanor close. Kissed her while Lily made gagging noises. Then immediately said. Okay, now that's done, can we get ice cream? This is definitely an ice cream moment. The wedding came the next spring. Perfect weather. Everything felt new. Garden venue. Simple white chairs. Soft flowers in trees. Sunlight through leaves like a spotlight. Mrs. Ahmed wept through the whole ceremony. Like a grandmother now. Mr. Patel, best man, toasted. I've seen plenty of justice in my career. But watching these two find each other. That's the universe putting things right. Eleanor's clerk Sarah, maid of honor. Cried happy tears into tissues all day. Lily, now 8.5, the half is important. Flower girl in yellow. She'd rehearsed 40 times. But when the moment came, she skipped down the aisle. Skipping is more joyful, she explained later. It's a joyful day. Everyone should skip more. It's scientifically proven. I read it somewhere. When the officiant asked for objections, Lily stage whispered loud enough for all. If anyone says anything, I'll fight them. I did a karate class. I know 3 moves. Laughter rippled. Even the officiant paused. When Lily brought the rings, she carried the pillow like crown jewels. Then announced to everyone. Just so you know, I set them up. I'm basically a professional matchmaker. If anyone needs love, see me after. Rates are reasonable. Mrs. Ahmed, you're next. Mrs. Ahmed nearly choked on champagne. More laughter. Vows were simple. Deep. Daniel promised to always stop for strangers in rain. Fix things with duct tape and hope. Be the dad Lily deserved. The husband Eleanor never thought she'd find. Eleanor promised to fight for justice even when hard. Use her magic hammer wisely. Embrace the beautiful chaos of an enthusiastic 8-year-old. Never take for granted the man who'd shown her true character. As rings exchanged, Lily whispered to Mrs. Ahmed. This is the best thing I ever did. I'm really good at this matchmaking stuff. At the reception Lily took charge. Taught Sarah the floss. Critiqued the DJ, more encanto. We need way more encanto. Told everyone the full origin story. So basically, Daddy fixed her car in the rain because he's nice. Then she used her magic hammer to save him from the bad guy because she's awesome. Then I drew a picture because I'm artistic. Then they fell in love because obviously. Then I told them to get married because I'm smart. Now we are a family. Any questions? One guest raised a hand. So you're saying you're responsible for all this? Obviously. They helped a little. Mostly my excellent planning. I'm gifted. During their first dance, Eleanor whispered against his shoulder. I broke so many ethical rules for you. Was it worth it? She looked at Lily. Now trying to teach serious Mr. Patel the worm. 0 success, maximum enthusiasm. Then back at Daniel. Every single one. She kissed him. Their loved ones clapped. Lily yelled. Get a room. Just kidding. This is romantic. Keep going. Later, meant to be father-daughter dance. But became family dance because Eleanor joined. Lily looked up, unusually serious. I'm really happy. Like the happiest I've ever been in my whole entire life. Me too, sweetheart, Daniel said, voice thick. Me three, Eleanor added, pulling them close. Good. Because now I have a mum who can teach me law. And a dad who can teach me fixing cars. I'll be unstoppable. I'm going to run the world someday. That's what I'm afraid of, Daniel laughed. Also, can we get a dog now? Families should have dogs. It's basically a rule. I checked. We'll talk about it, both parents said together. That's parent speak for maybe, Lily said. Yes. I'm wearing you both down. I can feel it working. Sometimes we think we know how our story ends. Daniel thought his would end in a courtroom. Gavel sealing his fate. separating him from Lily forever. Thought the world didn't care about character. Crushed people like him without mercy. He was wrong. James Whittaker got 5 years for fraud and embezzlement. Real evidence, once examined, was overwhelming. Justice came. Unconventional path. But it came. Daniel spent months believing the system would destroy him. Never knowing the system, in the form of one remarkable woman with a conscience stronger than fear, had fought for him all along. And Eleanor? She'd spent years judging from the bench. Believed following rules always meant doing right. She learned sometimes the greatest judgment is following your heart, even when it means bending rules written without room for mercy or human connection. As for Lily, she gained a mother who taught her strength and kindness aren't opposites, who showed her the bravest thing is believing in someone when the world won't, who proved magic hammers are real if you're willing to use them for good, and who never underestimated an 8-year-old with a plan and unlimited confidence. The three of them. A black father who believed in helping strangers. A judge who believed in justice over blind rules. A little girl who believed in magic hammers. Became the family none knew they were searching for. And that changes everything. If this story reminded you kindness always finds its way back, often in the most unexpected ways, share it with someone who needs it today. What's the kindest thing a stranger ever did for you? Tell us below. Your story might be the next one we tell. Because we all have the power to stop in the rain. We all hold magic hammers. If we are brave enough to use them.